Well, this is Women's History Month, and tonight we talk with a woman who made history when she was elected as California's first female Attorney General. Kamala Harris's political star has steadily been on the rise. Her recent rousing speech at the California Democratic Convention wowed the crowd.
And California Democrats, when we pull together, we are too big to fail.
As Attorney General, she's earned a reputation as a tough negotiator, securing up to $18 billion in aid for struggling California homeowners in the national mortgage settlement.
We were very determined to make sure that California, the hardest hit in the country, would receive its fair share.
Also on Harris's agenda this year, a homeowner's Bill of Rights and a crackdown on mobile phone apps that collect users' data. Newsweek recently named her one of 150 women who shake the world and invited her to their international conference on women in New York. Earlier today, we talked about her job as Attorney General and the role of women as leaders. Attorney General Harris, it is really good of you to join us here. And today you're in the news again. You're in the news because today you appointed a monitor to oversee that $18 billion settlement that you were able to push through on behalf of California homeowners. Now tell us a bit about UC Irvine Professor Catherine Porter. How does she specially qualify to make sure that people really benefit from this?
Can I first start by saying, Belva, it's so wonderful to be on your show. And thank you for everything that you do and have always done for the Bay Area, the state, and this country. You are such an inspiration to me. And I know you're going to be going off the air soon, so I just had to get that in. But Catherine Porter, so we negotiated a settlement to bring back to California $18 billion to California homeowners who have been in this awful process of foreclosure. And the idea is that that money will be used for principal reduction and also to allow people to refinance their loans so they can afford to stay in their homes. We negotiated for California in terms of the dollar amount and then some certain specific provisions, which we have referred to in total as the California Commitment. As part of the national settlement, a monitor has been chosen for the country. I decided that in addition to Joe Smith, who was chosen as a monitor for the country, I wanted someone who was focused specifically on California, because of course we are the largest state, we were hardest hit. And I wanted to make sure that, you know, promises made are promises kept.
There's a homeowner's Bill of Rights. You're trying to get that through the legislature. What are its chances?
So homeowner's Bill of Rights, again, settlement only covers 3 years, and we need permanent reform in California, and we need the rules to be changed. And in particular, for all those folks who are in the process of dual track, going through foreclosure, but they're also trying to modify the loan and stay in the home. They're in two systems that aren't talking to each other. One simple fix is let's have one point of contact for that homeowner. That's one of the bills. The bills are about saying that we want to make sure that there are appropriate penalties for misconduct. And we have the package with the support of the Speaker, Perez, and Senate Pro Tem Darrell Steinberg, and we are counting on their leadership along with folks like Nancy Skinner and Lonnie Hancock and Mark Leno and others who have stepped up to provide leadership to say, you know, enough is enough and we've got to stand up. The banks may be powerful interests. It can be very difficult for some legislators to stand up to them, but I think we have courageous leadership in California that is prepared to do that in the best interest of the consumer and the homeowner.
Let's move to the criminal justice system because that's where you made your reputation. There's going to be a question before voters on the death penalty. That was a difficult issue for you when you were running for office. Where do you stand now on the issue?
My position is the same. I am personally opposed to the death penalty, but I will follow the law. And so we'll see how that initiative turns out.
And another issue that you wrote a book and included something about 3 strikes, the 3 strikes law. It also will be on the ballot again.
Right.
What are your feelings about taking another look at 3 strikes?
I think that we need to have laws that are primarily concerned with keeping the community safe, and that was the intent of the 3 strikes legislation. But for example, when I was district attorney of San Francisco, my policy was that we would not pursue a 3rd strike unless that, which is a 25-year to life sentence, unless that offense was of a serious or violent nature. And I believe that's the right way to approach it.
The whole issue of President Obama's push on his health care bill, which
Yeah.
will be heard by the Supreme Court.
That's right.
You are for the expansion
Absolutely.
of Medicaid. What do you think the chances are that this bill has for staying alive going through the courts?
I think the Affordable Care Act was the right thing to do. We needed reform of our health system in this country when being a woman is a pre-existing condition, which means that it can be the basis for being denied medical coverage, such as if you're pregnant and you're trying to improve your insurance to get prenatal care, and you could be denied. This is true story because you're pregnant at the time that you apply for the improved insurance policy. I think that it's outrageous. So Affordable Care Act was the right thing to do. It's being challenged, and we as California filed many briefs before many courts throughout the country supporting it. It's called an amicus brief, and the Supreme Court will be hearing it. I believe that the court will do the right thing. It'll probably be a 5-4 vote, but I believe that the court will find, as we have found in our legal research, that the Affordable Care Act is constitutional and should be supported. And
I'm going to try to squeeze in
Yes.
one last question
Yes.
on women leadership. You were just at this big conference.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton is saying to women, get out and do something.
That's right.
Do you think this is really a year when women are going to make an impact on the national scene politically?
I think women
electorally?
make an impact every day of the week of the year. And sometimes other people are just a little slow to recognize that. So, but I think that there has been a legitimate concern about, what's going on. We fought these fights. The fight was fought 50 years ago, and we're still having a conversation about contraception. Mm-hmm. That's scary. And, I remember a saying, Coretta Scott King. Not specific, I don't have it down, but she said, the fight for civil rights is something that must be fought with each generation. And I think she had a reason for saying that, which includes the fact that when you're fighting for people's rights, it's not always going to be permanent. It's not of a permanent nature. And so we're going to have to keep fighting. And so let's not get tired or fatigued, because that's just the nature of it. And so that's where we are. We have to keep fighting for women's reproductive health rights. And it's unfortunate, but we'll take it on and we'll win, as we've done in the past.
Looking at your portfolio, it doesn't seem as though you ever get tired. There's so much more to talk to you about, but I'm happy to have had an opportunity.
Thank you. And
thank you
Belva,
so much.
Thank you for your leadership, really.
Thank you.